first one at a really bad car accident. So that then all is left to do is grow some flowers. It was just super rainy. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In this week's video, I wanted to do another garden with me kind of style video to show you everything that I get up to in the garden this week. It's currently Sunday and I have quite a few jobs to get done in the garden today, and I'll probably film until the Saturday so that I can upload it on the Sunday. But I have lots of exciting things that I want to get done in the garden this week. It's actually fairly early, it's about 7 o'clock, and I need to go and fill some buckets up to go and pick some flowers. Tomorrow I'm going into the nursing home just to do some activities with the residents where we're just going to be putting some flowers in vases and water, so I think that'll be really fun for them. I'm going into the area where my Uma is located and she has dementia, as do all of the other patients in that area, so I want to just bring some colour, bring a little bit of fun to that area, and I think for the residents that physically can pick the flowers up and put them into water, I think it'll be a really great experience. And for those who can't, hopefully just looking at the flowers will bring them a little bit of joy. So I need to go and do that this morning so that the flowers can sit in water throughout the day and overnight and fully hydrate. But the thing is, we're having like really damaging winds today and they are just starting to pick up, so I will put some pretty music over the top of these next few clips just because the wind is just a little bit too much right now. If you do enjoy watching these videos, make sure to give them a like because it really helps me to figure out what kind of content that you like, and also just supports my channel, which I am forever grateful for all of your support. Right, I might have to tie up my hair, go fill up some buckets, and then get picking some flowers. Right, I have all of the flowers picked that I want to pick this morning. I'm going to come outside this afternoon and just pick some greens from the garden. But I have a whole bucket of ranunculus here. Just a beautiful, stunning rainbow mix of all different colours. My favourites are probably the maroon, these ones here. This is one of my favourite colours, and if you know me, you know that I wear this colour a lot, as well as green, but I also am loving these hot pink. It's picking up a little bit more red than pink on the camera. But yeah, I am so in love. Along with that bucket, I also just picked a few more different flowers that I had around. I thought maybe it would be fun to pick a lot of the Linaria, these ones here, just to have a little bit of like filler and movement in some of the arrangements. I also picked some rainbow chrysanthemums, which are just super happy and bright and colourful, as well as just a few straw flowers. So I'm going to keep these inside in a cool, dark area, probably just in the garage, out of the wind, because the wind is going to get crazy today, and I really just wanted to make sure that all of these would be fine before the wind came through. So I'm going to pop these inside and then might get a little bit of gardening done this afternoon. We'll see how we go with the wind. We really do need to put up the fence today or tomorrow for the bandicoot just down the very back of the property. So I might share what that looks like. It's a really simple rudimentary fence just because we are going to be doing a proper one later down the line, but for now I just really need something for that area. So we'll see how we go with that. For now, I'm just going to go over and water my seedlings and then head inside and have some breakfast, I think. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday now and I'm actually in my laundry. I don't think you have ever seen this little room before, but I'm in here with Rocky. He's down here helping me out. And I'm actually just washing some jars in the laundry sink here. We have saved all of the jars from the kitchen, from like pasta sauces and anything that was in a jar. Saved them all, put them into a big box, so I have a lot now for flowers, and I'm just going to be taking some of these to the nursing home today. I think some of the ladies there have some vases, but I thought I would just bring some jars just in case we want to spread the flowers out a little bit more. So I'm just going to finish these. Thankfully today it's not as windy as yesterday. The last few clips of yesterday were just really hard to film because the wind was just insane, but outside looks a lot nicer today, so I'm hoping that we can maybe finish off the fence today or maybe tomorrow. Yesterday Scott and I also started putting up the fence for the bandicoot and also just for the cats. So we have some chicken wire and just some posts and zip ties. Just, it's really plain, it's really simple, but is going to do the job for now. Scott has started having a shower up above, so I'm going to wrap this clip up and then get all these jars washed and then head to the nursing home with the flowers. All right, it is the afternoon now and it has been a day. Let me just say that. The clips that I included before when I was kind of packing the car and everything were in the morning, and then I actually had to come home on the drive to the nursing home to deliver all of the flowers because I was kind of like the first one at a really bad car accident. It was a little traumatic because I was the one calling 000 and making sure that the lady was okay in the car, and she was in her 80s, just really shaken, but she was fine. It was really like a miracle that she was fine considering the crash, but yeah, all day I've just kind of been like calming my nervous system, because if you've ever been like the first one in an accident or whatever, you know that your adrenaline just like goes through the roof and you don't think clearly in the moment. Like, I forgot what road I was on when I was calling emergency, but yeah, luckily I kind of calmed down a little bit in the moment and she was fine. The car was completely not fine, but thankfully the fire and ambulance and everyone came, and she sat in my car in the aircon before the ambulance, and it was all okay in the end, or as okay as it really could have been. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to come back home after that and cuddle the cats and just like calm down. But I did go back in the afternoon to the nursing home to hand out all of the flowers. So, you know, I feel like I've done my community service for a while now, which of course, like, I wouldn't have done anything else. Like, I just really hope the elderly lady is okay, and no one else was involved, it was just her. But yeah, it kind of shook me up a little bit. But the nursing home, everyone really loved the flowers, which was amazing, and we all just sat in a little table and put the flowers in water. Even the really high care dementia patients were seeming to enjoy themselves, which is really, really amazing to kind of like get that focus level. And actually look at something and focus on something, at least even for a few seconds, rather than having your mind like drift everywhere. Dementia is such an interesting disease, really, just because it's so different in everyone, and it's, you know, related to physical or mental trauma, and there's just such a wide spectrum of how people act. But all of the ladies in the ward that I was in, they really seemed to enjoy it, which was really nice, and I would like to go back there when I get some more flowers and make it kind of a regular monthly thing. But yeah, I didn't take any videos in there because I'm not going to show the faces of the residents to keep their privacy secure. But just know that it was a lovely, lovely afternoon. It's almost 5 right now, and I am not going to do any more gardening. Today I'm just going to go up, have a nice meal with Scott, and probably watch either House of the Dragon, which is what we're watching, or watch some YouTube or something to kind of just like take my mind off things. But yeah, tomorrow morning I'm doing some work for Jeff at Whitbird Environmental, just working on a garden property just for a few hours to do some weeding, so I'll bring you along with that. And yeah, hopefully get a lot more work in the garden done tomorrow, because that was today's plan, but obviously I cannot control things that happen in the world, so I have the whole rest of the week to get some flower farm and garden work done. Right, happy Tuesday. It is the afternoon currently. I have had quite a busy day. I didn't film too much of it though, but in the morning I did some garden work where I just did a little bit of weeding, working with Whitbird Environmental, doing some work on someone's backyard, and it was really nice to just get outside and do some weeding. Hopefully the dogs and all the machinery, the grass cutting machinery, you know how everyone around here loves to mow their lawn, isn't picking up too much on the camera. But yeah, I just spent a few hours weeding and checking up on all of the native plants in the garden. There's a lot of beautiful native species planted in this garden, and we really prioritize weeding around these species just to make sure that they can grow up, and then eventually they will fill in the whole area and smother the weeds. So it's a really great organic way to build up a garden, is by planting like pioneer species and things that grow really quickly to smother out all of the weeds, and then we come along and hand weed around those species so that it can be a flourishing garden eventually, and hopefully just be able to sustain itself because all of the plants are native. Other than that, I have spent the rest of the day editing quite a few episodes of our podcast, the Earthly Roots podcast, where Diane from Diane and Samson and I chat all about gardening and homesteading, and In the episode I edited, we chatted about organic gardening, and another one about why we garden the way we do, why we've chosen to homestead. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek on what's to come with some episodes. And now I'm going to brave the wind outside. It is so windy again, but I want to just get a little bit of some planting done. I've got a few seedlings that really need to get in the ground, and they will just need a little bit of protection overnight because I just didn't get around to finishing the fence off today. We also really need to take the cats outside just for their afternoon walk because they just won't stop meowing, so I need to go and do that. So I will take you with me this afternoon and share what I'm getting up to in the garden. The cat's already outside, Scott is supervising, so I better go down and join them now. So windy. Rocky. Say hi. Distracted.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, I'll follow only golden, golden things. Mountain laurel high fives for miles in spring. Rainbow trout and hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow only golden. Golden things. Gold hair, gold rings, gold leaves, gold anything, golden, I'll follow only golden, golden things.
Alright, this is all I managed to get done this afternoon. I am losing light. It doesn't look particularly aesthetic, but this is hopefully like one of the last few nights that I will have to protect from the bandicoot. I finished the row of snapdragons, and I also just put 2 feverfew plants at the end of this row. They're all tucked up nice and safe from the bandicoot for tonight, or else they will just literally all be dug up. And those seeds were fairly expensive. I planted some of the apple blossom and lavender and apricot Costa snapdragons. Really pretty, and I'm hoping they grow well here. We also had a really big delivery of mulch come in, which is so exciting now that I can fill in all of the pathways. It's really going to make the garden look a lot nicer, but also just be so much easier for me to walk the pathways and not have mud go everywhere. It's really not great just to have a muddy garden just because soil is moving around and also being washed downhill. So this mulch is going to be super handy, and over the next few days I'm also going to just finish this area, mulch all the pathways, and then have it all be done. All the prep is done so that then all is left to do is grow some flowers.
Yeah, doing it by myself is easy because like when like, if I sit there and burn on
Right, so it is Wednesday now and I am out here working with Jeff again with Whitbird Environmental. We are again tackling this massive lantana wall that you can see behind me. It's a lot of work, but we've definitely done a lot. I thought I would introduce Jeff on this vlog just because I talk about him a lot, and I also help to kind of promote his seeds, and just really I'm kind of in awe of his small business that he's running because he's doing a really great job and a lot of great regeneration work. But I thought he could introduce himself and just tell you a little bit about him. All right, this is Jeff. Do you want to tell us and the vlog a little bit about yourself and why you started Whitbird Environmental?
Yep, so I've been doing bush regeneration for about 5 years now. I started with a company that did a lot of revegetation works for like developments and mines and things like that, which was fun, and I got a lot of good experience out of it, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to be more in doing what I would consider to be bush regeneration, which is actually working around remnant vegetation. I still do revegetation works, but usually it's to extend canopies and things like that. So I was working for them for a while. I was having to travel quite a bit, so I ended up leaving that job, and I was working in retail for a couple of months, just trying to change things up a little bit. I was a little bit burnt out actually, and then I decided I wanted to start growing some local native plants, and that's actually how Whitbird started. And I ended up, in the process of doing that, I ended up getting a contract working on a property in the Wollongong area, and at the same time I was working for Landcare, and I was also working for another bush regen company. And then I ended up getting pretty lucky with everything. A lot of things fell into place, and through some contacts and stuff I'd made working through Landcare and other things, I was able to get a few more contracts in the area around the Foxground area, and that's kind of what springboarded the business. So I was actually intending to be more of a nursery to begin with, but I kind of fell more back into bush regen, which I'm really grateful for because I really love doing it. But I am starting to work more on the nursery now. So yeah, that's pretty much how I started Whitbird 18 months later now.
Yeah, wow.
And here we are.
It's so cool how you had that kind of vision, and then we're doing major projects like this. Really, it looks a little bit like a mess right now, but there's method to the madness. Do you want to just give a little bit of an overview of for people who don't know, just a really quick process of what we're doing?
Yep, so yeah, it does look like a bit ridiculous at the moment. That's kind of what primary lantana work looks like. There's a few ways to do it. the way that I do it is what I consider to be best practice, which is what I learnt when I was doing my TAFE course and what I was taught by my former employer, who was my TAFE teacher as well. And that is going in with hand tools, and we cut everything down. We cut away to the bases, and then we poison the bases off, or if they're small enough to hand remove, we'll hand remove. One of the issues with too much hand removal on a big project like this on the slope is you can compromise bank stability. So we're pretty lucky. We've got quite a lot of, even though many of the wattles are dead, we've got quite a lot of trees on this site, which is going to do a lot of our bank stability. So we can do a little bit more hand removal here and there. There's a few areas which are a bit too open and steep for that though. So what we essentially do is we try and cut down, we incrementally push in, and we try and cut down the material so that it can be on the ground, which is why there's this lantana and other debris everywhere. As we walk over that over the next few months, we're going to crush it up more, and it's going to sort of break down faster. And it serves two purposes really. It means we don't have to remove all the material from site, which is a lot of labor, and it's not really practical. And the other thing is it helps actually mulch the site so that it helps suppress more weed growth. And every now and then we'll pick up
and drop.
Yeah. And every now and then we'll pick up stems and use them to mark our native seedlings that we find, which is another handy thing to have stakes everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just incrementally push in. I use the Bradley method, a modified version of the Bradley method, and we work from the good areas to the bad. So we pick areas that already have good existing canopy, or if they don't have necessarily canopy, we'll be able to see lots of native regeneration in them. And we'll work those areas first because they're going to have the most value, and then we'll push into the areas which are just pure lantana or other weeds as we go forward. But yeah, the idea is less about killing weeds and more about growing natives.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to think of it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of natives in the area that you would definitely wouldn't see unless you were doing it this way. But yeah, you're doing a really great job, and thanks for introducing yourself.
Thank you.
Lauren's busy away, soaring up there, so that's what that noise is. So the past few days, as you would have seen in some of the clips, I just took a few little clips here and there. It was just super rainy, so I didn't really end up filming much or doing anything out in the garden because it was just horrible weather, and I also just didn't feel 100% as well. I've had a little bit of an unlucky week. I don't get it hardly ever, but I do have a peanut allergy. It's not super bad, but still bad enough to affect me. And I managed to have 2 reactions in 1 week. One of them was today, and yeah, has just kind of rocked me around a little bit health-wise. So today I'm just taking it easy again. I wanted to bring you with me this afternoon because it's not raining for once. And today I am picking all of the onion scapes, or kind of the start of an onion flower from all of these onion plants, which aren't ready yet, and to be honest, I'm not sure if they will grow much longer. I think that the rain has really impacted the growth of these. I have mainly red onions. The golden ones aren't going to flower, which is great, but I'm just going to be taking all of these off by snipping them at the base. This is what they look like. You can see this is where the flower will happen. And if you want, you can let them go to seed and flower, and then you can collect seeds from here after the flower happens. But I'm just going to pick them all and pop them in this basket here and just use them in cooking. They have a really nice oniony flavour and smell really nice as well. So I am going to use these in a red curry tonight. I think that will be really delicious. And I might pick some more things from the garden for dinner, bring you around and share what I'm picking. But yeah, it is really nice to come out here at what is like almost 5 o'clock, and it's still super light and just really enjoyable to be outside. I'm really loving these longer days, and so are all of the plants as well, because they are growing like crazy and unfortunately going to seed, some of them. So I'm just going to work away, clip all of these off so that hopefully the onion can put a little bit more energy into the bulb. I don't think some of them are going to do that, but that's okay. Basically why I'm doing this is because I want the onion to be larger down the base rather than putting energy into going to seed and going to flower. And also it's just really hard to store onions that have gone to flower, because this goes right down into the bulb, and then you start having a little bit of greenery in the onion bulb, which sometimes you'll see if you leave an onion for too long, and that just means it is not going to store very well. So I'm going to press on with this and then go pick some more greens, maybe do a little bit of deadheading as well of some flowers, and call it a day. Alright, that is a good harvest of these. They smell so delicious. I'm excited to use these in some recipes. Another great way to use these is in pesto. I'm definitely going to be making some pesto very soon, probably with all of these beautiful greens and spinach that I have behind me. Pesto is one of my favorite things to make from the garden because it's so versatile. You can really just use whatever you have growing. If it's green, if it's got some flavor, just chuck it all in a food processor with some oil and some walnuts or pine nuts, and it's absolutely delicious. I do have a recipe on making pesto with garlic greens, and I probably use a similar recipe for making pesto like this. I really just make pesto up on the spot though, but I will leave that video linked below in the description. Unfortunately, there's a little bit more rain coming, so I'm just going to do a little bit more harvesting in the garden and then head back inside, probably just pick some more of these greens here for dinner. but I think I might sign this video off here and probably maybe continue with another week in the garden from tomorrow. Let me know if you enjoy these videos by either liking or commenting. I'd love to know what you're up to in the garden this week or what your plans are for next week. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.